The empty scream. In a village called Hallow Ridge, there was a legend that the elders whispered in hushed tones, while the youth dismissed it as just a tale. It was about an event known as the empty scream. This was a soundless scream that echoed through the thick fog surrounding the village every autumn, leaving nothing but silence and a sense of unease in its wake. According to the legend, those who heard it, though not with their ears but in their minds, felt it more as a sensation than a sound. It was an unbearable pressure on the soul. Those who experienced it were never the same again. Some ventured into the forest and were never seen again. Others became hollow shells of their former selves, their eyes vacant, their voices reduced to whispers. Claire didn't believe these stories. As a journalist by profession and a skeptic by nature, she returned to her childhood village to write an article for a city magazine about local folklore. The tales of the empty scream intrigued her, not because she believed them, but because she knew how much people loved to scare themselves. Every good story has a kernel of truth, her editor had told her. Claire was determined to find that kernel. Armed with a tape recorder, a flashlight, and a notebook, she ventured into the forest one evening when the fog was dense and heavy. The air was damp, carrying the smell of decay, mixed with the scent of wet leaves and something oddly pungent. Her flashlight cut through the fog, revealing twisted trees and tangled bushes. As she walked, she recorded her observations, the crunch of the leaves beneath her boots blending with her voice. Hours passed, and the forest grew strangely quiet. No rustling of leaves, no chirping of crickets. Even the wind seemed to have stopped. Just as she was about to turn back, she felt it. A pressure, faint at first, then growing stronger. It felt as if the air around her had thickened, pressing against her chest and pulling the breath from her lungs. And then she heard it, not with her ears, but deep within her mind. A scream. Long, drawn out, and without sound, only a sensation. It was cold and empty, like wind passing through a hollow cave. Her knees buckled, and she fell to the ground, clutching her head as the scream reverberated in her mind. Her flashlight rolled away, casting eerie shadows on the trees. She couldn't move, couldn't think. The scream surrounded her, filling her with a sense of despair. She tried to scream back, to make some sound, but her voice was gone. Her throat worked in silence, her attempts swallowed by the heavy stillness. When the sensation finally subsided, she lay trembling in the dirt. She had no idea how much time had passed. Minutes, hours. Her flashlight had gone out and the darkness was thick. She tried to find her tape recorder, hoping she had recorded something, anything. She rewound the tape and played it back. There was only static in the air, her own voice describing her journey, blending with the silence. Then a whisper, faint and distorted, but unmistakably human. Leave. The voice was layered, as if many people were speaking at once. When she rewound and played it again, the whisper came louder this time. Leave now. Claire jumped to her feet, abandoning her tape recorder and notebook. She ran out of the forest, towards the dim light of the village in the distance. The fog seemed to be trying to slow her down, wrapping around her, but she pushed forward. By the time she reached the edge of the trees, her clothes were torn and her face was streaked with tears. That night, she didn't sleep. The whispers echoed in her mind, and the sensation of the scream remained in her chest. The next day she packed her things and left Hallow Ridge, vowing never to return. The magazine published her article, but it was heavily edited. The editors removed her personal story, claiming it made the piece too sensational. Claire didn't argue. She knew no one would believe her. But she believed. And late at night, when the world was quiet and her thoughts began to drift, she would hear it again. The empty scream, silent, empty and relentless.